Alrighty, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, whoever you are and wherever you are. Welcome to the Playbook of the Wealthy podcast. We're here for another episode. My name is Dave Grant. My co-host is Heather Townsend. If this is your first time here, we're going to split it up into 4 sections. You're going to learn about us. We're going to dive into content, and we're going to answer some questions. So before we go, a couple things. Please pause the show. Follow it. Subscribe. Like. Comment. Whatever you need to do in social to make us more popular than we already are, please do it. And then we have some disclaimers because we are financial professionals. So all opinions expressed by Dave Grant and Heather Townsend are solely their own opinions and do not reflect their views of their respective wealth management firms. This podcast is for informational purposes only and should not be relied upon for investment decisions. Nothing in this material constitutes a solicitation for the sale or purchase of any securities. Clients of Retirement Matters and Townsend Financial may maintain positions in the securities discussed in this podcast. If you found that boring and you don't like insurance, you're going to really find this content boring, but it's going to be worthwhile.
Wait. We're discussing homeowners insurance. I get really excited about insurance. So don't leave yet. You're going to not think that someone can be so nerdy and excited about insurance. Dave was even surprised. So just no, you need to stay. But I did
it's
kind of
worthwhile, but I know what kind of nerds we are.
Okay, but when you were reading the disclaimer, I wanted to be like, rah, 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 rah. I don't know why I want to make that sound. Okay, I'm done. Let's move on.
All right, the first section of our podcast. It is called How You Doing? This is a tribute to Joey Tribbiani in the best sitcom that there is, Friends. So, Heather, professionally, how you doing?
I feel like the new year has started out with a bang. I mean, normally this is supposed to be like a slower period. You know, tax season hasn't really cropped up. It is crazy. I feel like Manic Monday was this past week. I have another client I got to call back right now. I mean, it's just been insane. I'm like, oh dear gosh, what is tax season going to be like this year? Every year my firm keeps getting bigger and bigger, right? So I'm like, okay, I'm going to start earlier this year. I'm pretty organized, but yeah, my admin and paraplanner who work with me with other financial planners say I am the most organized financial planner that they've ever worked with. But I'm like, I got to get even more organized. That's kind of what's on my mind.
Okay.
There's nothing to say about it. Good. Yeah. I'll let you know how that goes.
That's the only advice I have. Good luck.
Thanks. How are you doing?
Pretty good. Things are rocking and rolling. I mean, it really is the life of different people. You know, just had someone lose their job and call me up and say, okay, here's why my email is bouncing. I'm like, I wondered what was going on because it was their work email and it just kept getting bounce requests. So like, yeah, I lost a job, just trying to find it. I'm like, okay, we need to sit down. I'm like, yeah, you're on the list. I'm like, I should be first on the list.
Yes.
But you know, we have a meeting. So it's just going to go through that whole process of, okay, here's what happens when you lose your job. Let's just go through that checklist of, you know, health insurance, retirement accounts, insurances. And then you kind of have to go into how you're taking it because it affects people differently. You know, male, 57, spent his career in this job. There's going to be a little bit of fallout. And there's the whole rehiring process, which for some industries is a little tougher than it is for others.
Well, and let's face it, ageism exists
tonight. We'll see.
Well, and ageism, it exists, right? I feel like I hear 57 and I'm like, hopefully it was a lost job versus fire. Cause I feel like if people are laid off, that's taken very differently than like being fired.
Oh yeah. It was corporate restructuring and it was, okay, we have some excess. Sorry guys. So it was nothing that he did, but he saw it coming. Okay. But yeah, so just dealing with those situations, and it's for everybody who's going through that situation, it's like, okay, this is the end of my world as I know it. For us, this is just another situation that we walk through and we counsel people through.
And onwards and upwards, like onto something better. That's what I always say.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Okay, can we get to one of my favorite topics now? Can we dive in? Okay. I'm taking your spots now. You're probably over there like, Heather, you're messing this up.
You are. I'm your producer right now. Thanks.
Okay. So one of the things with like wealthy people in general, you know, you got to have insurance, you got to have asset protection. No one likes talking about insurance. No one loves insurance until they need it, right? So what we want to go through, especially with some things going on in the world, crazy hurricanes, crazy fires, making sure you have enough home insurance. We're even going to share, I'm even going to nerd out on my own so you guys know. If you want to pull up your home insurance policy while we're talking, you're really going to get a lot out of this. What do you have to say about that, Dave?
Agreed. I think that's a prerequisite. I think pause the episode and go find your homeowner's insurance. If not for organization alone, but just so you can go through it and figure out what we're talking about.
Okay, I feel like you're really great at breaking down the parts. Do you want to talk about it by part? Like, where do you go? Actually, I'm going to ask you, where do you first go on a client's homeowner's insurance policy?
Well, the first thing that goes through my head is I channel the Jackson 5 and we start singing the ABCs. And the reason why is because that's how it's structured. It's A, B, C, D, and it keeps going on.
Oh, I don't even
not too much in the preschool area in my head. No. All right, so let's go through it. All right, so we are going to go through the parts A, B, and C. Heather, do you mind if I pull up your homeowner's insurance so people can follow along if they don't have their own?
Go for it. Let's just redact my address if it's on there.
All right, we will. So I'm not going to go into the details of Heather's policy, but you'll notice that there are Part A, Part B, Part C, yada, yada, but I'll take you through what everything means. So Part A, this is going to be the coverage for rebuilding the structure of your home. So whether that's partial or full. So it's essentially, let's say that, tragically in LA, people's houses got wiped out. This is going to be the coverage that rebuilds the house. There are a few caveats in there. We're going to cover those later, but typically A, rebuilds your house.
Go to dwelling.
Part B.
Dwelling is rebuild.
That's dwelling.
Yeah.
So part B, we're talking about other structures. If you have an external garage or a shed, or it could be a pole barn if it fits under this homeowner's insurance, that's going to be another structure that if it gets knocked down, gets rebuilt, but it's not covered under the structure of your home. Part C, this is your personal property. So this is going to be your clothes, your furniture, your electronics, your painting, your art, your everything in your house that's not part of the actual built structure. Yeah. So Heather likes to say, if you turned your house upside down, what's going to fall out?
I do. It's very visual.
I haven't heard that one before.
The rugs would fall out. A lot of stuff would fall out. Okay, keep going.
It's true. All right, part D is living expenses. So if you're not able to live in your house while it's being rebuilt and you have to go rent a hotel, you have a longer drive to work because of it and you're paying more in gas, you have no place to cook, so you have to go out to eat. All of those expenses over and above what you typically live on are covered by the insurance under the living expenses.
And really quick,
go ahead.
Wait, I want to say, I think that people are short here too. Like 1 year is not enough. I don't know any home. It's very rare. And even if we talk about LA really quick, how many people are going to try to build their permits being clogged and getting approved? Like it's going to be insane. So, but just in general, let's just not even take it LA. No, I think you need 2 years. I have up to 24 months, 200,000. I think that's a pretty good number.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think you have to look at what rent is in your area as well. Like if you're a family of 4 and you need to go rent a 3-bedroom house, what is that going to be? And that's kind of not even all of the expenses we're talking about. That's just the rent. And if that's going to be 2 years, it's going to cost you $2,500. Well, that's $30,000 a year. Now you're looking at, if you're out for 2 years, you're now at $60,000, and that's just for the rent. All right. So I'm going to leave it there because that's pretty much all of the important parts of the homeowner's insurance?
Dwelling, I find a lot with my clients that it's short. And even on my policy, I had to like tell my insurance agent I wanted more. So I think it was in the 400s. 500,000 is now what it's at, dwelling alone. And, I work with a lot of people in real estate. I have an architect as a client, so I always discuss like, what's the cost to rebuild? And on high end, right? Like I don't have just run of the mill, just house. And so you want to also look at what is the cost to rebuild at certain levels, right? A luxury home is much more expensive to rebuild than probably a basic home. And so you need to think about cost per square foot. I think when people think dwelling, they automatically include land. Like, what's my house going to sell for? That's not how you think about it. The land is priced in your value of your home. The land isn't going anywhere. You need to think about what it costs to rebuild. And I mean, I'm about to do a remodel again to my house. New floors are going to be like $20,000. A kitchen is, I don't know anyone who can do a really nice kitchen under $100,000 today. So, 500,000. I was like, there's no way. A roof is how much, So, windows, I mean, everything. And so, I got extended replacement cost. And replacement cost is so important because if you have, what's the other term? Like actual value?
Actual cash value, yep.
Actual cash value. Yeah. That means it's like the depreciated value, which you're not rebuilding a home with depreciated materials, are you? Like 20-year-old roof or a 10-year-old oven. You're not putting that in your house. So you need replacement costs. That's a huge thing. I got extended replacement cost. And then I just found out about this new thing called guaranteed replacement costs that I want to try to go get. It's like they're guaranteed to replace your home no matter what prices go up, whatever. Like they can't, if wood skyrockets for some reason, even if you had, like, they're going to pay the cost to rebuild. Right now I have 40%. So that's like 700,000 to rebuild my home. It's probably pretty good. And then personal property, I have like 375. I was like, is that a little light? Maybe. But also I don't love all my clothes. Like I wouldn't mind spending $100,000 on a whole new wardrobe. Like that would be nice. But the other thing that I think people miss on their home insurance policies, like I'm sure with your wealthier clients too, like I for sure have separate jewelry policy. My husband, the watch I bought him, that's on a separate policy. Like your expensive things. I mean, most policies, I think they cover like up to $2,500 for furs and jewelry and stuff. So if you have a wedding ring, if you have a nice watch, a Rolex, all of that needs to be on a separate policy or itemized in your home as a separate item. I also want to bring that up. I think people miss that.
Yeah. Yeah. Homeowners policies are great when it's just a standard situation. Once you start getting into, you're a little bit different than the norm of A, what you have in your house, or B, what your house is like in terms of how it's built, then you need to start looking at specialist policies or, really ramping up those limits because it just comes in a template form a lot of the time.
And then, at least on mine, so what I thought was interesting, which I like, is they have a section on my policy that says other coverages not purchased. And most policies do this. Like, so you can laugh, Dave, but I have flood insurance in Arizona. Okay. I'm in a desert and I have flood insurance because I'm in a floodplain. But it's not included. Allstate couldn't give me flood insurance. So I think it's actually with FEMA.
Okay.
And so, but that is a separate policy, in like Florida, hurricane policies are separate, or in California, earthquake policies are separate most of the time. Like those are separate policies, but your insurance should say, or this is why I think it's so important to know your agent, straight out ask them, what is not included in my policy? And they should tell you. All
right, question for you. We'll get nice and personal here. Did you go straight to Allstate to get your insurance, or did you use a broker to shop every insurance on the market?
I did not use a broker. What's interesting is I believe like Allstate, State Farm, There's a few of them that can't go through a broker. Broker is, I think it's like Safeco. There's policies that can be brokered. And then if you want like to be with Allstate or State Farm, you have to go to a State Farm or Allstate. Like a broker can't figure out what those policies are.
They're captive insurers. They only write their own insurance.
And I know you'd know the term. This I really want to touch on. Think of if your house burnt down or you had a horrible car accident, would you want to call an 800 number or would you want to talk to your agent? I want to talk to my agent. I want to talk to someone personally that I can get a hold of who can walk me through this and give me advice. So I don't normally like my clients going through a broker. I normally refer them to an agent. And that's because when something happens, I have seen my agent fight for a client with the bigger company, like the bigger Allstate company, right? So that's more valuable than me or even my clients saving like $300 or $400 a year, right? It's true. When you shop around, you can save money on premiums. But peace of mind, or in those times of why you have insurance, to be able to contact someone and get the right answers and to go to bat for you and to make sure that you have enough coverage, I think that's priceless. That's asset protection.
True. I'm going to disagree with you. I don't think it's worth it. I want the best insurance for the best possible price, and I want someone shopping that for me. I don't want to have to second guess if my captive broker or captive agent has the best insurance at their company. I want everyone vying for my business. And so I found that we are different. I found that people going from, say, an Allstate, and then I take them to the broker that I use for clients, they find holes in the policy that Allstate wouldn't tell them, and they will find it significantly cheaper than what Allstate has just been ramping up into their increases. So they've now got better insurance, and they've got a cheaper rate. Do they have an agent? No. Do they want an agent that's been under-insuring them and overcharging? Heck no. They want to kick that guy in the face. So I will politely disagree and not agree with you.
But I think it also depends on the agent, just like the financial planner. Like if there are good insurance agents, just like there's bad insurance agents. There's good CPAs like there's bad CPAs. So I think it depends on the agent. You can still disagree with me, but...
I've had an agent before.
But were they good?
And they were fine. But
Fine.
It's fine. But the thing is, how often do you use them? Only in times, let's say on average, you might use them once every 10 years.
I don't know. I use mine a lot. I mean, kitchen remodel, you got it. When you remodel your house, mind you got to like update your home insurance, make sure it covers, or get a new car. You got to talk to them. When my net worth increased, I increased my umbrella, right? So,
right.
So like I'm constantly talking to them. And they also, give me good advice on clients and stuff, which I really value.
Yeah. I could see from a professional standpoint, but everyone listening and viewing is like, I don't even know my agent's name. You're weird. You talk to yours all the time.
Well, we all know.
All right, before this gets into a fight, let's move on.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a little weird about insurance. Yeah, but I mean, I just think because I've seen firsthand how it's saved people, and then I've seen how it's bankrupted people by not having enough coverage. Right? Like, if you have some holes and you get the luck of the draw, it can financially devastate you. So really, fine. You can be like Dave's camp or you can be in Heather's camp. Just have the right protection. How about that?
Fine.
Yes. Okay.
I like having people pick sides.
Okay. They can pick a side. Heather or Dave, put it in the comments. I think that's like everything. I also know this is where we need to go next. Homeowners insurance is going to continue to increase. I normally do not predict things. I'm going to make this prediction. I read on, I think it was like the Mortgage Professional website or something. Homeowners faced an average of a 17.4% premium increase for new policies in the first half of 2024. 2023 was 11.6, and it was only 5.9 in 2022. Like, it is continually going up. Now, granted, we've had inflation too, but like this, and I mean, this is where you are right, Dave. It is true. Homeowners who stayed with the same care and policy each year experienced even steeper increases, with those who purchased a policy in 2021 we're now in 2025. But this article was written, 2024, they were paying 69% more. You might have only been paying 40% more or something, right? So
I don't even know.
But I think, studies are showing natural disasters are happening more. We won't dive into that right now of why, but it's going to continue going up. I don't think this is going to stop anytime soon. And it started in 2022 because I think it was 2022. State Farm and Allstate lost billions of dollars. It was insane. So they had to make up for it. Auto's gone up. I mean, and I think it's going to continue. I don't have better news on that.
I agree. We initially said when we went into this podcast, we were not going into the weeds. So if you're looking for very specific stuff about your homeowners, you're not going to find it here. But we are going to give you some weird things that happen. I got 3 for you before we jump into what would you do. So let's say that your house burned down completely and you can't live in it. If you go and live with some friends, make sure that they treat you like a landlord. Make sure that they're writing down what they would charge you for rent if you live there. Make sure they write down how much of their food you ate. And if you're using their car because you don't have a car anymore, make sure they write it down, or work on this together. Don't make it weird. But then you can bill all of that back to your insurance company, and they will cover that because it's considered loss of use.
And hopefully your friends just give you that money if they're really good friends. Like, you maybe help contribute to the house. Yeah. You know, the other one I didn't mention though, I want to say a weird thing. Everyone should go through their house with their iPhone. I didn't think of this either when I was prepping for this. I think that's a great idea. We have an iPhone today. That's how you're going to prove to your insurance what your house looks like. Go through your house with your iPhone. That's great proof of everything you have.
And talk about the stuff.
Yeah.
Yes, you can get a picture, but if you're saying this is, 18 karat gold or 24 karat gold, and they could just say it's gold plated, and you're like, well, listen to the audio. I talked about it. Here's the appraisal or whatever we did. And so don't just run around your house with an iPhone. Make this a detailed video.
Yeah. Probably can do it in 5 minutes. Be so thankful if something happens. Yeah. Okay. What other weird things?
I'm going to do transitions in mine and a theme tune. And as we go into each room, the lighting's going to change, and there's going to be main characters and themes.
Dave, if I was an insurance agent and saw that, I would think you plan to burn down your house or something. So maybe don't do that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay. What other weird things? I want to hear more. All
right. So your house, let's say half of it burns down. The insurance company comes back and says it's going to cost $200,000 to rebuild it, whatever number they come back with. If you don't agree, or you get a quote from a contractor that is vastly different, you can hire your own adjuster. You do not have to use the adjuster that the insurance company uses. If you get a public adjuster, they are going to charge some money. It's usually on contingency with how much money they get back for you. But they're going to go in and they're going to fight with the adjuster of the insurance company and make sure you get the right amount of money. So the insurance company's looking after themselves. They're not looking after you so much, even though they provide you a service. They're trying to save as much money as they can.
And so you might have to get a private adjuster. I might not, because I can just talk to my agent and he can push for me.
Sure. Should we test it? Should we burn our houses down and see see which approach works?
Please, no.
Okay.
No, but that would be kind of awesome. I mean, I don't want to lose all my personal belongings, but oh my God, to rebuild my house how I really want it without having to do go through the remodel, just start from scratch and do everything how I'd ever wanted to. That'd be kind of awesome. Not going to lie.
I feel really bad because we sit here joking about these things, and there's people in LA who are going through it right now. It feels a little morbid to be joking about it.
I think it also like depends, like if that's because like here we're talking about it as if it's planned, right? I also live in a world where I talk about these things a lot. I hate to say it, but like estate planning, life insurance, like I'm in this world of asset protection. So I have to also play this out in my world a lot. So, I have thought about it, like if we lost our home, but I'm also not one that's really tied to material things. Like I'm more tied to memories than material things.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no right or wrong. I just think some people are
It's weird what goes on in our head, isn't it?
Yeah. I think some people are more tied to material things, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just different people. Okay. What other weird things do you have?
Yeah. All right. I got one more. So if you suffer a total loss and you are now going through that journey of rebuilding your house, let's say it's going to take you 2 years, you have to keep paying your homeowners insurance premiums. You still have to keep paying your mortgage. Even if you don't have a home, you still have to pay the mortgage that's tied to it, else that mortgage will go into default. The interesting thing here is if your house gets repossessed and there is no house, isn't that the ultimate middle finger to the mortgage company that you haven't paid it and you don't have anywhere to live, yet you have to pay them? I don't know, but the law says you have to keep repaying it.
Well, then if you walk away, you end up ruining your credit. I did read somewhere though that if your house burns down, sometimes there is the mortgage company will like give you forbearance for 12 months or something. They'll work with you. You know what I was thinking about with the LA fires is interest rates are significantly higher today than they were back then. So if my house burned down, my interest rate is 2.75. That's gold today, right? I'd probably keep my same mortgage and use all the construction proceeds to pay off the construction loan. And just keep my same old mortgage. So I'd get back to hopefully the same net result of where I am today after it's all done. I wouldn't go and pay off my mortgage.
Interesting. I don't know how that works. Like if your payout has to go to the mortgage company first to pay off the loan, and then the proceeds get used to rebuild the house.
I don't know.
Thankfully, I don't know how that works.
I don't want a construction loan at like today's rates of 7 or 7.5 or whatever. No, thank you.
Yeah.
Be interesting. Okay.
Yeah. Well, some people know how it works who are dealing with it right now. We do not. So we're the semi-experts. All right, we're going to go into our question section. It's called What Would You Do? So question number 1, Heather, you're answering this one. I'm going to ask it to you. I have an expensive kitchen with premium appliances. Will my standard policy cover these?
It's up to rebuild. That's why you want extended replacement. That's why you want replacement cost. If you have replacement cost, yes. If you have actual value, probably not.
It's where that video comes in, right? As soon as you're done with that remodel, take a video of it.
Mm-hmm. Yep, exactly. Okay. Question 2. Following my house fire, I was considered a total loss. My home was paid off. My insurance company has given me a check for the amount in my insurance policy to rebuild. Do I have options?
Yes, you do. It's typically 3 options you have. So if you've literally just left with the land that you have, you can rebuild the house using the insurance proceeds. Typically, the insurance company would like a like-for-like house for the most part. You can't build a smaller house and then pocket the proceeds. Typically, that isn't how that works. But if you move, then you can start to look and say, well, I don't have as much land. I need to build a smaller house. And that's when the insurance company gets a little bit more flexible because you're dealing with a different situation. Or you then go, I don't want to live here anymore. I'm going to sell the land and just buy a different house. So that's when it just becomes a lot sale. You take the proceeds of that, the proceeds of the insurance, and you just go buy a completely different house. You don't have to deal with a rebuild whatsoever.
And I wonder what a lot of people do if you don't have a mortgage and all of that. Like, would you want to rebuild where a fire was? I don't know.
I think it's all life stage. Like, would I rebuild my house right now if it burned down? Probably not, because it's getting too small for us. So I'd probably take the proceeds and go buy another house and just sell the lot for pennies, because it's probably not worth much. I'm in the Midwest. Land is not worth much. But yeah, if you're in LA where the land is triple the amount that it's worth, if the land is worth triple the amount than the structure was, it's a completely different conversation, I think.
Yeah, and we didn't say that actually. Like dwelling doesn't cover land. I think people always think dwelling includes land. Like land is the value that's included in your home value. People always forget that.
Yeah.
It's just cost to rebuild. Okay, question 3. The water main burst in my front yard, but specifically after the sidewalk before the road. Ooh, interesting. Is this covered under my homeowner's insurance?
So this happened to my neighbor, and they found out the hard way that everything is covered in their front yard up to a certain amount of feet away from the house. After that, it's an endorsement or additional coverage that you need to have on your homeowners, or you're paying for it out of pocket. And they were like, well, why is the city not paying for it? It's now on city land. Well, the city's responsible for the water line and up to your house to a certain footage. And for the most part, if your lots are big enough, there's going to be a gap. And who covers that? That's you.
Wait, this is a question for your agent, Dave. You need to talk to someone?
You need to figure out what kind of coverage you have. Do you have that specific coverage that covers your water line all the way through? You can call the 800 number. They'll give you the right answer. Your agent might not know.
Oh my gosh. I think yours is 10,000 and mine's like 20,000 service line. I saw it somewhere. We have it, but it's
you're
limited.
digging through rock to get to yours though, right?
Mm-hmm. But like little pebble. Oh, you mean like dig. Yeah. I don't know. And what's interesting to me is I'm in an HSA or an HOA. So
yeah.
Like, I wonder what would happen in that situation. Because I think in our HOA, there's a certain point that I would imagine is covered with the HOA too. I don't know.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. So then it becomes a conversation with the HOA, the insurance company, just to figure out, okay, what limits are covered by who and what is the gap that's on me. So you have to ask the questions. This is where it comes in interesting when you then shop your insurance, because then you're able to find out where the gaps are with what other insurance companies are offering in their coverage. Because if you're with a captive agent, they may not do that all the time. They may just be pumping out all these coverages that are pretty rote. Then you take that and shop it, and another agent's going to see, okay, well, you don't have this coverage. So let's put it in.
If you have a bad agent, yeah, totally. I agree.
Yes.
Okay.
Are you introducing the next segment? Co-host.
No, this is you do it.
All right, we're moving into highlights. This is our personal win for the week, or what your highlight was for the week. You want to go first?
No, you can tell I'm looking at you. What's your highlight?
I can feel it through the screen, and we're thousands of miles away.
On TV? Did you find some TV show?
No.
Oh, what is it then?
So this is going to be bizarre. And this is not a highlight, so to say, but it's a PSA. If you don't have your furnace and air conditioner serviced every year, please find someone to have them do it, and then have that on a rotation where they automatically come to your house. Mm-hmm. The reason being, it is a balmy 7 degrees in Chicago today, and my furnace got serviced 3 weeks ago. So I know it's in tip-top running order. Same for the air conditioning. I know exactly when that's going to need to be replaced by the guy who comes and services it. And so it gets serviced right at the start of the summer, and I know the air is going to work. It's no guesswork anymore. So it's cold here, and so I am glad for the heat.
Wait, you just said it's a balmy 70 degrees.
Sarcasm.
Oh, what is it?
It's 7.
No, it's not.
I said, yes.
7?
It hurts to go outside if your skin is not covered. Yeah.
Oh my God. Do you know what today is here?
Your snot instantly freezes in your nose when you go outside.
Yeah. It's 69 here today.
Shut up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. I mean, my highlight is, okay, my best friend, I planned a bachelorette for her last year. And me and her friend apparently planned such an amazing bachelorette that they asked that we plan a reunion. So the reunion is this weekend. I planned it with my best friend's friend. We plan amazing girls trips, and I'm going to do a mud bath for the first time. I'm making all these women do mud baths with me. And it's going to be interesting. Like, this isn't like a mud wrap. You get in, you submerge yourself in mud. You've done this before?
I've watched Billions. I know it happens.
Wait, what happens?
Or is it Suits? I think it's Suits. They just have, one of the lawyers really loves mud baths, so he does a lot of his meetings in a mud bath.
Oh, yeah. Okay. By the way, I thought of you. I'm rewatching Entourage. It's the first time I've rewatched a show. That is such a good show.
Mm-hmm.
They don't make shows like that anymore.
You know what I do want to watch? And this is really going to, age me and tell you what I like to watch. I want to go back and watch The Hills, because through the LA fires, I was watching Spencer and Heidi Montag on TikTok as they were, their house burned down, and they were just documenting it.
Oh, I watched the whole thing. I love that he came. That's brilliant. He was brilliant. Yeah, I have nothing. So smart. So smart.
And now I just want to go watch that, because you find out what the real guy he is. Like, he's a hustler, just trying to make money for his family, get a house back. Yeah, in that show, he was awful. He was the villain. So now I want to rewatch it.
I think it's funny you have to say rewatch.
I watched the whole thing. Oh. Yeah. You have no idea how much crap TV I watch, because I enjoy it. Just watching train wrecks. It's so much fun.
You were giving me so much ammo for my husband. He always makes fun of me for and my trash TV is Selling Sunset, where there's real estate and business still involved. No. Mm-hmm. He thinks it's waste. And he was making fun of The Hills. And he's like, yeah, of course I've never watched that. I'm going to make him jealous. You've watched it. I'm going to use it as ammo. Yeah, I'm going to use it as ammo.
You should watch with him is Love is Blind.
I told him
one of the best TV shows ever made.
Absolutely no. He said no. No.
I haven't watched Love is Blind to Buy yet, but I would like to, because that's apparently more of a train wreck than the regular ones.
Oh my gosh, you're so funny. I never knew this about you. Okay.
If my clients ever see this video, then I'm running away, because this is just straight up embarrassing. So
okay, well, to end though, to end really quick. Yeah. I hope you reviewed your home insurance, and if you don't have enough coverage, it's important. You need to go get the right coverage, even if it's a few more $100 a year. That's what I'm going to say.
It is. Ask your agent or get it shopped. Either way, doesn't matter.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening to this episode of Playbook of the Wealthy. You can find us on whichever platform you listen to podcasts, and the video version of the show is on YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn. If you want to send an email to the show, you can contact us at hello@playbookotw.com. And we'll see you next time.